The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN. Quite the moment we come on the air, folks. We have a renomination of Chairman Powell. He will be leading the Fed for another term, and let's jump right into the markets as we kick things off. Your S&Ps right now. Are we correlating? Are we live? Yes, we are. There we are, up 19 points. Wanted to make sure we were seeing the move right now. You have the NASDAQ 100 up about 77 points. Look at that trend, NASDAQ 100. Higher prices we go. I think my internet's a little slow right now, folks. Unfortunate. As we come on the air, we'll see if that reacts. You have the NASDAQ 100 up about 80. You get the Dow up 157 points, 35,699 right now. Bitcoin, 58,905 right there. On Bitcoin prices, gold contract pulling back on that news. Gold down about $20 to $18.31. We jump to silver, basically flat at $24.77. Crude right now down 48 cents, settling at about $75. So much for $85 last week on crude prices. And we jump to notes and bonds. Little get of lower price and higher yield right now. We got the 10-year down 15 ticks. You see where we were on Friday, quite the acceleration at 131.08. We're back down to 130.13 right now. You're looking at a yield of about 1.58%. I think we were sitting at about 1.53% as we came into that renomination of Chairman Powell to lead the Fed yet again as we go through a pretty tumultuous period of stimulus, tapering, etc. Zooming in on the S&P action, trading at 47.12. We were down about 47.02. We're back to where we were just at about 6:30 a.m. Pretty calm action right now in the indices. We'll see where we go from here. Interesting that news drops at 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday. I was thinking maybe that news might come out over the weekend or maybe Friday so that the market digests it a little bit instead of digesting it with 22 minutes to go until the start of trading, where you might get a little bit of volatility as people place their trades on how that's going to affect the possible plan for tapering. What would happen if a new Fed chair was in there? How would that have shaped the rates that were going to go forward, the yields, the stimulus? I mean, just a lot at stake for the market to take it and basically move in stride within a couple points of where we were prior to that news coming out. All right, jumping around to what else we got going on. Let's jump into some of the stocks that are moving already this morning. We jump into it. Activision CEO stepping down. He had some controversy recently with the way he was handling some problems at that company. Consider leaving his job if he can't fix the culture. Correction, that's quite a statement. Kotick said to have made those comments to senior managers after he and the company faced criticism for handling of its sexual misconduct allegations. I mean, this stock just keeps going. You had Roblox becoming the biggest market cap company, gaming company out there last week, and that had to do partly with their ascent to higher prices, Activision's ascent to lower prices. You lower again, now you jump over to the Analyze tab. We're talking about now a company valued at $48 billion, quite a far cry in Roblox. I have not been on this one. I'm going to have to check out this platform because you're talking about a company now valued at over $80 billion. This company, you take a look at the chart, quite a week last week. You're up 40% from where we were on Monday. 40%, and you're an $80 billion company. You back this up for a 3-year weekly. There's the run that started November 8th, man. Look at that run. You're talking about a good, nice couple weeks on the heels of their earnings. I mean, what is that? We basically just doubled the price you were trading at on October 11th. That's remarkable. Apple won't be able to deliver new iPads in time for Christmas in key Asian markets, according to the Nikkei news service. iPhone delivery delays aren't quite as long, but still far longer than in a typical year. Apple getting hit with some supply chain issues as the rest of us. But guess what? They're trading higher by $1 this morning so far. Apple, you're going to be opening at all-time highs. Look at Apple on a weekly, right? My goodness. Let's take that off just for some clarity here. And where did we get down to? Yeah, 50% pullback of the run. But taking that off for some clarity, I mean, we just broke out of a consolidation, and I say just broke out, right? You break out in July, you trade up to an area in Apple of 157.26. You come back and test that 140 area, and look at that 140 area, folks. We made it up to 137.98 in August of last year, made it just above that area in January, accelerated through that area in July, came back and tested it in October. Now, you look at the run this thing had. This thing had an $80 run from the low to the high. You then chopped around for a period of basically from August to June, 10 months. You were in that area. You ever get another $80 run, you can see $200 from 120 is where you could potentially see that $200 price tag, and we're already at 161 on Apple. And I talked about it last week. We're going to be approaching $3 trillion if you start to get these types of runs. Apple right now is at $2.65 trillion. Remarkable, that company. All right, back to a short-term time frame. There's your acceleration on Apple staying higher. We jump to some of the other FANG stocks, see how they're coming on the news that Chairman Powell will be in there. Microsoft barely up this morning. I think the market just likes the fact that that's one less variable that they have to consider. They know Chairman Powell. The market hates uncertainty. If there's one thing they have with Chairman Powell, it's not certainty, but it's a known factor of how they expect him to handle the tapering. If you bring in a new Fed chairman, chairwoman, anything's possible, okay? That's the bottom line. Volatility would have been potentially pretty dramatic, and maybe that's part of the reason why President Biden decided to stick with Chairman Powell. Consensus was he's done a great job. He looked at the alternatives and decided to stay with the chair for another term. Chairman Powell getting the nod, and the market liking it so far, with the S&Ps up about 19 points right now. Let's jump around to some of the others. Amazon having quite the run on Friday, giving some of it back, barely higher this morning. You jumped to some of the big retailers last week, right? Kohl's accelerating higher, giving back almost all that gain, which was remarkable. Macy's didn't give it back all. Gave back some of it, but still closed the week higher. We jumped to Tesla shares. Tesla this morning can't hold a good Tesla rally down, folks. Tesla's going to open another $30. You've almost clawed back all the losses that you got. You're going to open at 1164. We're right in this area. You were only trading above there for a few days. Remarkable that Elon's able to sell so much of that position and the stock doesn't even budge. Says a lot, folks, about the strength in that. With everything going on, with him pulling Twitter to sell tens of billions of dollars of shares, his brother selling out shares at $1,200. His brother was selling nine-figure sums, folks, nine-figure sums. Again, they wouldn't be doing this if they thought the stock was undervalued and had future room for appreciation in the near term. Anything's possible, but keep your eye on this because especially Elon's brother. You know, Elon's brother sold the day before he made that Twitter post. That story came out on Tuesday. That's where the sell-off really began a couple weeks ago. And you've clawed almost it all back. Remarkable for Tesla. Going to be interesting to see where we go today. Let's jump back to notes and bonds. You take a look at notes and bonds on the daily, coming down near basically the lower range in terms of where we've been trading, 129.31, where we were back towards the end of October. And you got the 10-year right now down about 17 ticks, and still we're sitting with a yield now of 1.59%. So a little bit higher yield on that news, and it could make sense, as in the greatest threat to Chairman Powell to take over that role would have been Chairwoman Lael Brainerd, who might have been a little bit more dovish. So maybe the market saying, yeah, we're going to see a little bit higher yield, but guess what? We're okay with that because we know who Chairman Powell is and the markets are higher coming into the open. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Well, welcome back, folks. Checking back on the markets. Pretty calm action right now as we got about 11 minutes to go until the market open. You get the S&P's up 18 points, NASDAQ 100 up about 71, got the Dow up 150. All the markets digesting that we'll have Chairman Powell in there for another term. And Lael Brainerd, she elevated to the position of vice chair would be the headline. Let me pull that up. Biden keeps Powell as Fed chief, elevates Brainerd to vice chair. Not sure that that's very meaningful in the context, as in there's one chair, and usually they get all the headlines, but nonetheless, you will be in that vice role now. So Powell's got a second 4-year term, and yeah, Clarida is stepping down. Oh, did I lose you? Unfortunately, I'm getting a few connection problems as this market's rock and rolling. I think you got me. Okay. Nonetheless, so she'll be vice chair. Market takes in stride right now. Keeping our eye on notes and bonds. The slide continues. We got a yield right now of 1.6%. Started the program off with 1.58. Closed out the first segment with 1.59. We're now sitting at 1.6%. Yields rising about 8 basis points. And man, it's been quite a drop from where we were on Friday. Now, taking what all that means, right? As of right now, we're tapering asset purchases to the tune of $15 billion a month. There's $120 billion to get through. That takes about 8 months. That would bring us to June. Potentially, that's when you get your first rate hike in June. This is all under Chairman Powell. That seems to be completely in play right now. That's the playbook he's laid out. Expect rates to rise in June. Expect the tapering to take until then. But here's the disclaimer. It might be quicker than that. Definitely possible with the inflationary tendencies going on. Now, we have crude pulling back a bit. That's going to help things overall, $75 versus $85. A little bit of a pause in the ridiculous ascent that crude has had recently. But we have inflationary tendencies. We got supply chain issues across the board. And it'd be interesting to see if the Fed can wait that long, as in if we get an improving job market and we have the Fed potentially increasing the rate that it's going to be trimming, or tapering is the word, those asset purchases, then if they get to zero before June, then they could raise rates potentially before June. But they just came out with that plan a few weeks ago in the November meeting. Okay, so that plan is not going to change yet. But we have all the way to June. We're going to get a lot of data up until June. So it's going to be decided by that data where we come from, holiday sales, holiday wages, inflationary tendencies for CPI, PPI type data. So keep your eye on that. Nonetheless, we have Chairman Powell for 4 more years leading the Fed, and we get the markets in positive territory. Interesting, you get a rise in yield at the same time that we have a higher market, right? The market liking the fact that that variable is off the table, liking the fact that an unknown is off the table, even though it digests the fact that higher rates probably coming sooner than potentially possible under the alternative of Lael Brainard if she had been running the Fed. Not necessarily a guarantee that that would have been the case, as in it's pretty laid out for a very decent plan, I would say, with everything going on in terms of the inflationary tendencies. Would she have even held off longer? But it was definitely more possible if that happened. And you're watching the yields continuing to drop a little bit right now. Rise, as we have dropping 10-year at 130.08, and we got the yield right now sitting at basically 1.6% right now. All right, jumping around to what else we got going on. To stocks, we'll jump to Monster Beverage. The energy drink maker is discussing a merger with Constellation Brands, according to multiple reports. First report of those talks. The structure of such a deal is not yet known. Monster Beverage spirits producer have a combined market value of nearly $92 billion. So Monster Beverage and the spirits producer. Yeah, Constellation was up 2%. Monster's down 0.3%. Taking a look at these. So Constellation, now what's interesting about Constellation, there's a little bit of a pop. It's up to 240 right now. They are the big backer of Canopy Growth, which has just been a one-way straight shot almost to $0. I think it's trading at $12 right now, not to zero, but it was trading at 59, 58, something early in the year. Constellation, you're down at 104 in the doldrums of the COVID lows. Even since then, when the market takes off in November, right? I love the 382s. I love the 618s, folks. The market loves to turn around at those levels. You climb up to 244 from the run it had from 160. Constellation pulls back to 212. You chop around there for a period of a couple months, and then from there we've taken off a bit up to 235. Now they are up a bit in the pre-market. And Monster, before I do though, analyze, give me the fundamentals here. Wow, so it's amazing that a company like Monster Beverage is actually valued that much. I did not realize that. If you look at the assortment of brands, I'm going to pull them up, and I have some Constellation in a retirement account, folks, all right, for disclosure. But it's amazing that Monster Beverages has that market cap, because the pure brands that Constellation has is amazing when you go through it. So here's Constellation and their brands. Corona Beer, probably the biggest one out there. They have Corona Seltzer as well. When you get into beer, another big one they have is Modelo, I know. That's probably going to be featured up here. Corona Light. There's Modelo that they have. You got a bunch of different beers in there. What else they got in there? Local Buzz, I'm not as familiar. Pacifico, that's a big one. They got a ton of wines in here. And this is just amazing how big Monster Beverage is when you look at these wines. So it's Kim Crawford, right? That's a big one out there. What do they have? Miomi is a big one I'm familiar with. I mean, just many brands out there. Mondavi, I'm very familiar. Seven Moons. Ruffino. Look at, they got 3 pages of these Constellation Brands wines. And Constellation is a great company out there. It's one way to gain exposure to the cannabis sector if you don't want to ride it all the way to zero, which it has. Cook Champagne, not exactly the Dom Perignon of champagne, but nonetheless, it sells. And let's see on the third page what they got. Not familiar with those as much. And then you get into spirits. Casa Noble, was that tequila? Gotta love some good tequila. Svedka Vodka, tons of brands, amazing. And then you get into Monster Beverage. And let's see what they're talking about. So let's see what they have here. They got everything Monster in there. And are they going to be valued at $50 billion? They sure are. They're a more valuable company than Constellation Brands. That's amazing. So they may combine those two companies. That just strikes me. Had not realized Monster Beverage is a $50 billion company just selling energy drinks. But man, I know they're big. They're big in my household. We got a teenager in high school. Those high school kids, not exactly the best thing you want to be drinking out there for youngsters, but nonetheless. So those two companies, they might be teaming up. Pretty interesting. Such a deal's not known yet. Multiple reports, it looks like, discussing a merger. Interesting, nonetheless. All right, what else we got? Vonage and Ericsson. Ericsson's buying the U.S. cloud communication firm for $6.2 billion. Rivian, no way. Rivian, yeah. Friday's news that Ford and Rivian have dropped plans to jointly develop an electric vehicle. Interesting, right? I mean, that was the big deal there when they went public. That Rivian, I mean, check that out, right? Rivian, and they've pulled back a little bit. I'm going to put this on a 10-day, 30-minute. I think that pulls the full complexities. One of the biggest things that they were talking about when they went IPO, the biggest of all, was that 100,000 vehicles had been ordered through Amazon, who I think owns 20% of the company. Nothing like having Amazon owning 1/5 of your company and already ordering 100,000 vehicles before you even run a single vehicle off the lot. But the other one was that Ford had done the same thing. Well, turns out that's not the case. Ironic timing, right? I would say that's interesting timing, at least, that 10 days after you go public, Ford says, yeah, we're not going to order those cars from you anymore. Not sure how that played out, but nonetheless, that's the case still. Rivian, big-time prices at 123. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back for the open.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and we got markets at highs basically coming into that opening bell. We get the S&Ps right now up 19 points, kind of pushing the highs we had at about 6:30 this morning. And you look, interestingly enough, kind of right at the highs we had middle of the day on Friday as well. We were higher pre-market. You had a little bit of a sell-off. If you remember Friday's action in the S&Ps, Dow really sold off on Friday. We'll jump over to the Dow in a moment. But S&Ps right back up to that area we had Friday intraday. and pre-market this morning. You jump over to the NASDAQ 100, it's a one-way ship to higher prices. 17,000 is the next stop. I kid a bit, folks, but put this thing on a 5-year weekly. My goodness, almost no pullback since the COVID lows of 66.28. We're more than 10,000 NASDAQ 100 points higher. Remarkable. Dow, 36,446 is the high. We're down at 35,700 right now. Making sure that's not important. It is not. And we jump over to the action. There's your action on Friday. A little bit of a sell-off. Dow kind of right back to, as I talked about in the S&P, right? You're talking about whether it's back to the pre-market level, also back to kind of intraday where you were at 9:30 and also around where you were at 12:30 intraday. Russell up about 10 points right now at 23.54. Bitcoin, interesting, Bitcoin caught a bid potentially. Was that maybe on the Fed? I think the Fed news was out at about 9 o'clock, so maybe not. Nonetheless, Bitcoin, there's a 2,000 pop on Bitcoin. You take a look, though, on Bitcoin, right? A little bit of a pullback, back under 60,000. You could call it a critical area. Below the area we had in October on Bitcoin. And out of curiosity, if you're trading crypto, let's see what kind of Fibonacci numbers we're dealing with here just off the recent run we had from late September. You rise it up to 69,355, almost make it down to the 50% retracement. About 52,000 maybe is the next stop there for Bitcoin. That would correlate to the high we had, that big volume high on September 7th. That's on the futures, we're looking at about 14,000 contracts. And you can see kind of how that jumps out on September 7th. And that would also correlate to the 618. I like the 382. I like the 618 a lot. Many times you'll see a pivot or a transition point on that Fibonacci retracement. And at least you know where you're at. You know, you're going to make a trade. Maybe you try and buy a falling Bitcoin. At least that's an area that you have a plan. At 52,000, you're trading into an area of support in September 7th. You're also back to the 618. Now you go a little bit longer term time frame. 52,000, that's where we're talking about on that chart. As you can see, that'd be a critical area, right? Because you blow through 52,000, I mean, 40,000 is the next stop on Bitcoin. Let's see how Ethereum is trading this morning so far. Yeah, quite the, now look at these two in comparison, right? Bitcoin's back to 58,000 and Ethereum from 70,000, okay? And Ethereum it's down to 42, pretty close actually. I was going to say 20%, 15 to 20% of a pullback. Now Ethereum doing a similar comparison in terms of the run we had back to September 20th. I'm going to add a Fibonacci number on there. Ethereum, as you can see, not even back to the 382 of that run though. And if you go back to the 618, you're talking about 3,500. We'll back this out to see where we were in that area. Now it looks like Ethereum, the area you'd want to see is 4,000 on that. 4,072 is the 382. You got some nice support going back to September on 4,000. Nice round number for Ethereum at that price point as well. All right, jumping around to what else we got going on. So the travel stocks, talk about some volatility recently, pulling back, having to do with potentially the wave that is hitting Europe. And we got some areas in the U.S. that are getting hit, unfortunately, as well. Merkel sees worst German spike. Pfizer's 100% data, the virus update. Latest surge in COVID infections is worse than anything the country's experienced so far. Some of what's going on in Europe is pretty intense. I bring it up because especially you talk about international travel. Not what we were thinking. I mean, look at the pullbacks we've had on some of these airlines. American was just up to 26 in May. We're under 20, and we have been for a while right now. Delta Airlines, all of them got a little bit ahead of itself coming out of the pandemic. As high as $50 early in the year, as high as $46. Yeah, $45.52 2 weeks ago. And you're at under $40 right now. The pullback's been quick as the market's recalibrated what's going on in Europe. Yeah, Austria, man, they are really locking it down. Fourth national lockdown on Monday, threatening fines up to $4,000 for people who refuse to get vaccinated once mandatory inoculations kick in next year. Just keep your eye on it, especially if you're trying to play any of these travel stocks or, you know, stocks that are internationally based, because I don't see anything like that potentially happening in the U.S. right now, but you're seeing it happen in terms of the lockdowns going on in Europe over there for sure. All right, and jumping back to, where are we? the story about Monster and Constellation, because this one really caught my eye. It's interesting. So Monster, which I want to bring up, has Coca-Cola as a major shareholder, discussed the potential deal with advisors. It may not lead to a transaction, but it is interesting. They're both kind of at the same level, about $45 billion. The structure of the potential tie-up couldn't be immediately learned. Really interesting when you have two companies that are coming in at almost equal value, how they're going to structure it, right? Which management team takes over? Who's the CEO? Who's the chairman? How's the board made up, etc. Any transactions with Constellation would require the support of the Sands family, which has built the company into a global beverage player, the people said. I guess that would make sense, right, if the family's that involved and founded it. Nobody's commenting, of course. Now, Coca-Cola may pose a sticking point. So they see such a transaction, if effected, as jeopardizing Monster's exclusive distribution agreement with Coke, which would derail its international growth ambitions. It's interesting how many things go into this. I see little synergy between these two companies, as regulators would not welcome drinks that combine caffeine and alcohol. The products produced would have to leverage their respective brands, but be mindful of limitations. So Constellation, based in New York, started as a wine producer in 1945. Think about that, right? 1945. When was, I think Monster was around 1990 they started. Yeah, Monster's just still growing. Reported record third quarter net sales despite supply chain issues. If they're successful, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, whether they combine and how those are going to be synergistic with an energy company like that, energy drink company, and then combining it with a company that's basically booze and hoping to get into the weed business through Canopy. We'll transition to Canopy, though. Yeah, not $12 no more, $11 handle, down another 1.5% for Canopy. You look at that drop, folks. My goodness, right? You go from last year at $13 all the way up to $56.50. That had a little bit of Reddit fueled mania potentially in that run up, and then you give it back to $12.04. And I'd say it's possible that you're going right back to $9 here. I mean, you know, maybe this is the pit stop. If you're really looking to get in this equity, you could probably start a position at $12. You could probably add to it at $9, but keep in mind that, you know, you're pushing a value right now that you have this type of a pullback. You better believe that there's big problems going on in this equity, and there's nothing to say that this thing can't go to zero if it goes from 56 to 12 to 9. This should not be back to where you were at the depths of the pandemic if you think about how stocks were being valued at that point. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back in 3 minutes.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got a chart of the gold chart up here real quick, and as we do that, I just want to pull up the yield real quick. We're talking about a yield right now in the 10-year, about 1.59%. Gold really pulling back, down about $34 right now in the session at $18.17. You take a look at gold on the weekly, though, doesn't look as dramatic, right? Because gold has had quite a run recently. You think about it, we were back on September 27th at $17.21. You run up to $18.80 almost. That's a $160 pop over the period of about 7 weeks or so. Now gold giving back some of that, and you look where we are. I mean, you're looking about maybe the potential bottom area. You could get as low as 1,700, folks. You're trading. That's 117 bucks. You do pull back. Now, what's interesting is when you think about it, this is what's getting put out. Now, this is in humor and in good taste. Bloomberg Business Week, one of their tweets, right, in terms of Chairman Powell, he's back. Free money getting printed everywhere. Not maybe what you'd think in terms of gold trading like that, but nonetheless, we have a little bit of a higher yield right now. There's a lot of factors going into this, but gold really pulling back on that news. Wouldn't be the case normally if this was the sentiment around a new Fed chairman. But anyway, amusing nonetheless, as Chairman Powell is in there for another 4 years. Gold pulling back. Now, that's on the weekly. I wanted to bring it up just for some context. It is only Monday, so that is quite a weekly bar when it's only Monday, okay? But we'll see where we settle. But you put it on a daily, things look a little bit more drastic, as they should, because gold is down $32 right now at $18.18. And if you want to know where gold is going, tune in today at 3 o'clock. My dad, he's the Gold King. He'll be doing his program live from 3 till 4, and he's got a new gold report that's going to be out for subscribers at about 10:30, folks. If you haven't checked out the gold report, great time to do it. Head on over to the front page of TFNN.com. My dad puts out the gold report every Monday morning. There's your gold report action right there on the front page. All new subscribers come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and today's the best day to do it, folks, because they got a new full report coming out at 10:30 this morning for subscribers. If you're already a subscriber, look for that report at about 10:30 this morning. All right, jumping around to what else we got going on. Okay, jumping over to what we have. So we have earnings still this season. I'm going to jump through some of the earnings we got going on. Today, we got Zoom after the bell, I think. Jumping over to Zoom earnings. Let's see. Are they already out or are they out off the bell? I think they're out after the bell. We're going to see. Yeah, so Zoom's down 1.5%, probably having to do with some rising yields. Zoom not very receptive as a growth company to some high rising yields. With that said, NASDAQ 100 is up 135 points right now. We jump over to the Analyze tab. Earnings, they sure are. They're out with their numbers tonight. Now check out the move, folks. If you're selling volatility premium, you love to see a $28 move priced into an equity trading at $247. You're talking about an 11% pop. Now let's get into you take a look at Zoom, 247.02. You jump over to the Analyze tab. And I just wanted to show real quick in terms of simulated trades, okay? For the week alone, you're talking about a $31 implied move, folks, in Zoom. That's a staggering move when you talk about a company trading at 250. All right, point being, you just buy a at-the-money put or call, and you got to make almost $13 to $14 of movement just to get your money back. This stock has to move 5% just to get your money back. Now, they have some volatility on their earnings, all right? You back things up. Just the last year, I mean, there's the last time they come out with their numbers. You traded from 345 down to 300. You dropped 15%. No, you traded lower than that. You traded down to like 288 on their earnings. That's part of what's in play. Look at the earnings they had back in March, right? Look at the earnings they had 1 year ago, the volatility. All the earnings, though, have been to the negative side, really, in the last year. You had earnings that they digested in June and really didn't move around at all. I'm just going to back it up even a little bit further. Does that get them all? Yes, this is the last earnings a year ago. You were at 588 about 13 months ago in Zoom. You pulled back on their November earnings. You pulled back pretty sharply on the March earnings. You held steadfast in June and then dropped out of bed again in September. And you take a look at Zoom. Just going back, I mean, you're back to kind of a critical area here. You don't hold this 250 area. Where are we going to next, folks? I mean, the slide is basically one way to the beginning of 2020 prices. Now, here's what I will say. There's no way with the way that the world changed for Zoom. I mean, people really hadn't even heard of Zoom, many people. Now, they were a great company coming into the pandemic, but they were not a household name as they are now. Zoom quickly accelerated to higher prices as the world figured out that they were going to benefit greatly from working from home, video chatting, all of that. But you were already at $80 coming into 2020 before COVID even existed. You started to accelerate up to about $100, all right? You're at 246. I mean, you trade anywhere near that level, I'd be buying all the Zoom I could back at $100. I don't see it getting near there at all. But maybe, you know, sticking out, you got this. Now, this is only if you break this area, okay? Because you have some volume. But maybe 200 is where you could trade to there. We have a weekly bar from 224 to 183 that did 130 million shares. You break below this area, and that might be where you're heading on Zoom shares. But going to be interesting when they got a $31 move priced into that. I mean, you could sell, you know, right away in my head, if you're directionally biased, okay, you could be selling a call spread or a put spread. If you just want to sell the volatility, I mean, the type of trades that you can start setting up here, folks, just for some context here, let's just say you wanted to give yourself an eye on Condor, all right? An eye on Condor is basically, I'm going to sell somebody a call spread above the market, I'm going to sell somebody a put spread below the market, and I'm going to hope it stays equal. I'm going to be selling volatility on both sides of the market, okay? So what I would do, calls are on the left here. Let's say I'm going to go up and I'm going to sell a 250, to 265, so I got $15 of price action that I'd be exposed to, call spread. And then on the same way, I'm going to go down about $5. I'm going to sell a 240 to 225 bull spread. Let me make sure of this. As I even do. And there's where you're looking at on that trade, folks. Now, let me just set up the trade so you can see for clarity per one contract. And these are potential trades I was looking at in there. And so there would be your risk profile there on a trade like that. Pretty cool when you have a max profit of $1,000 because you're taking in a $10 credit because there's so much volatility on this thing, and the most you can lose is under $5 in that area. You have a max, you have a break even all the way from 230 to 260. You have a max profit from 240 to 250, and you lose money basically anywhere below about 225 and above 265. With the type of move priced into this equity, pretty cool that you create a $30 area of price action on a stock that's trading about 245 where you don't lose money. Now, with that said, we've seen the moves possible. We'll see what happens, but kind of one of the cool setups I look at in my newsletter, Rocket Equities and Options. We'll see. Not sure what we're going to be doing, if we'll be trading Zoom at all. But when I see a move of 10% priced into an equity right away, I say, why want to be absorbing that premium? Seems like a lot of premium. Can the stock move that much? It's where the personal biases come in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to finish up the show.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
All right, folks, we got the S&P right now up 35 points. Check out that acceleration as we pop higher on the open. That's a 15-minute bar we're looking at right now. You're positive by 0.75%. NASDAQ 100 accelerating higher, record high, 16,730. Remarkable. You're up almost a full percent in the NASDAQ 100. Dow up 0.75% as well, 35,816. The Russell catching a bid. We got Bitcoin up about $500 right now. Crude sitting at about $76. Gold contract down about 30, trading at $18.21. Gold's $10 off the lows already, though, at $18.11. And we jump to notes and bonds. You get the 10-year yield sitting at about 1.59% right now. Jumping around to what else we have going on. So we talked about Zoom after the bell tonight. I believe we get Urban Outfitters as well. We got a lot of companies with earnings. I'm going to jump through them real quick right now as we wrap up the show in terms of what to put on your calendars. We got Best Buy out with their numbers Tuesday before the bell. BBY is their symbol. Best Buy up this morning 3.5% ahead of their numbers tomorrow morning. We jump over to the Analyze tab. you're talking about, on their numbers, a $10 move expected for Best Buy. Now, tomorrow, before the market, we get Dick's as well. Dick's Sporting Goods. They are out with their numbers. There's a move for you. More than 10%. I like to see more than 10% moves, folks, if you're ever trying to absorb that premium. That's a big move. $15 for $140 stock. Dick's has been on fire during COVID. Check out that acceleration. They got a lot of expectations to live up to coming into their earnings. We keep going down the line. Dollar Tree tomorrow morning as well. We got Burlington Stores tomorrow as well. After the bell tomorrow, Dell, Gap, HP Inc., Nordstrom. They got some expectations. What else we have? Wednesday, we have John Deere with their numbers. We got Pfizer and BioNTech out. Thursday, what? Yeah, closed. Yeah. Closed for Thanksgiving. I'm going through this list. What did they have for Thursday? They had Amazon up there because they said, guess what, folks? It's Black Friday. Amazon, we'll see how they're doing. Amazon up about 0.2% as we come into the numbers. Should be interesting. Holiday week, right? We will be closed on Friday. Market's open for a half day, but we will be closed, recovering from a little turkey Thanksgiving. Look at these markets, folks. Remarkable. S&P is accelerating now, up 40 points. The market, liking that we got 4 more years of Chairman Powell. Higher prices across the board. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman up next. Larry at 11. Fast Market at 12. Steve Rhodes, Dave White, Tom O'Brien. My dad this afternoon. Have a great Monday, everybody.